ready?
Okay, howdy y'all. Let's call to meeting. I just got the COVID shot yesterday, so I'm going to be a little slow. But let's call to order this this meeting, and it is 12:06. I was a little late. I apologize. So can we have confirmation of a quorum? Got it. And then any public comments? Okay, great. Moving forward then, let's go to item 1, the election of officers for the board of directors for the SRWA. Specifically, we need to elect the secretary, was it?
That's correct. With the vacation of Mr. Cowan, then at this point, the Brownsville Navigation District appointed Mr. Secretito Lopez to serve with the SRWA board. And so we have right now currently you sitting as the president, vice president, Mr. Roger Nelson, the treasurer is Ms. Gabriela Fernandez. And we have right now 2 members that are eligible for that position, or unless you all want to do something. Typically, we don't do them in mid, and we do them earlier of the year, but because of the vacancy, we have that vacancy at this time for the secretary of the board.
So let's ask this. Does anybody want to nominate somebody to be the secretary of the board?
I will nominate Mr. Mayor James A. Chambers to be secretary. That was fast. I'll second.
Okay, well then, great. We have the guy for secretary of the board. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Before we leave that item is Mr. Nelson, who is right now currently vice president. He's serving in 2 terms.
Oh, I just automatically rolled you in. I do apologize. Does anybody have any feelings about vice president of the board? Anybody maybe want to make a nomination? Do we have to re-elect?
Then it will become vacant, or can they serve both duties, both positions?
If somebody
I'm going to defer
wants-
this one to general counsel on this.
So, but you're currently the vice president,
Correct.
and you're willing to serve, continuing holding over in that position.
Correct.
If there's
There's no vacancy,
No
so I don't know if we
vacancy.
have to do anything.
created
We got
Okay.
in the past.
now.
Okay, well, I'm good. I'm just
As
wanna
long
make
as
sure
you're still
you're
happy
okay.
doing it.
Okay.
So what might be helpful, if that's a similar situation for you, Mr. Fernandez, and for each of you, that the slate be renamed of those who were in office before this meeting, continue in that office. That might be the cleanest way to sort of just.
Okay.
Then I'll make a motion to continue the members as they are, as president, vice president, and secretary.
And treasurer.
Treasurer.
Right.
There you go.
All in favor?
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Right.
Aye.
The motion passes. We are all stuck with our previous responsibilities. Nobody gets to shark anything. Okay. So item number 2, the consideration and possible action on approval of the August 5th, 2024 board meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the August 5th, 24 meeting.
Second, Mr. President.
Okay, and all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Yeah, this is going great. The general manager's report. Yeah. Tonight's not going to be as nice.
General Manager's report. At this time, we're going to be presenting the operational chemical optimization financial report, and Mr. Galvano, Mr. Rangel, followed by the drought update with Mr. Mariscal, and they'll just start with their presentations at this time.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, members of the board. My name is Jacob Galvan, and I'll be presenting the production distribution report for the month ended July 31st, 2024. On tab 3 of your board binders, we have the 2023-24 water distribution summary and true-up estimates. And I'll start on column C. We have the SRWA total distribution, and the year-to-date was 2,109.013 million gallons for a daily average of 6.915 million gallons. On column F, we have BPUB's distribution, and the year-to-date is 1,843.594 million gallons for a daily average of 6.045 million gallons. On column G, we have the distribution for Valley Mud number 2, and the year-to-date is 51.167 million gallons for a daily average of 0.168 million gallons. On column H, we have the distribution for Los Fresnos, and the year-to-date is 165.744 million gallons for a daily average of 0.543 million gallons. On column I, we have the credit for BND, and the year-to-date is 44.29 million gallons for a daily average of 0.145 million gallons. On column J, we have the allocation for Indian Lake, and the year-to-date is 4.218 million gallons for a daily average of 0.014 million gallons. Below, we have the true-up estimate, where we have PB under by 115.89 million gallons. VMUD number 2 is under 1.77 million gallons, and City of Los Fresnos is over by 117.66 million gallons. On the next page, we have the production and distribution report for the month of July. On the third column from the left, we have the SRWA total water produced, which was 203.061 million gallons for a daily average of 6.55 million gallons. And the total water distributed was 199.609 million gallons for a daily average of 6.439 million gallons. Below that, we have the chemical consumption costs, and the total was $74,682.62 $74,682.62. And below that, we have the electrical consumption costs, which was at $112,408 with 63 cents. On the next page, we have events that reduced water production. On July 9th, we were down 6 hours for a power outage because of blown fuses on the power pole by the transfer pumps. On July 20th, we were down 6 hours for a power outage at the well field. On July 25th and 26th, we reduced production to 5-hour rolls because there was RW Harding was doing well testing. And on July 31st, we had another power failure at the RO facility and maintenance to reverse flush pump A at the microfiltration. We were down for 4 hours. Do you have any questions? On the next page, we have the external results, the analysis. And for the month of July, we were able to reduce ferric to 1.0, and all the parameters, the point of entry water parameters, were within limits. Any questions? On the next page, we have the manganese levels, a graph of the manganese levels at 17% blend. On the next graph, we have the arsenic levels at a chlorine dioxide of 0.3 and a ferric dosage of 1.0. On this slide, we have the water production, water production distribution comparison for 2023 and 2024. And you can see we took a dip, small dip here, because of rain and because of some of the maintenance that we had going on, power outages. On this slide, we have a comparison of the 3 water treatment plants. And we could see SRWA contributed with 28.67% of Bronzo's water demand. And that concludes my presentation. I don't know if you have any other questions or comments. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, members of the board. My name is George Angel, I'm the finance manager, and I'll be presenting the month-end financials for the month ending July 31st, 2024. So starting on your first page, I'm going to concentrate on the far right column labeled fiscal year 2024 year-to-date. We'll start off with line number 3. Total operating revenues came in at $6,509,648. To that, we subtract out the total operating expenses on line 10, $4,869,198. Giving us operating income of $1,640,450. Moving on to the next page, to that we subtract out our net non-operating expenses of $57,672. Gives us income before capital contributions of $1,582,778. We have not had any capital contributions throughout the year, so our change in net position remains at $1,582,778. We add that to the net position at the beginning of the year of $22,764,917, gives us a net position for the end of the period of $24,347,695. And then we do have some supplemental information on all of the O&M accounts, if you all have any specific questions on those.
Great, thank you very much. Renee, I think you're up. We are at 20%, or just, sorry, we are over 20% capacity right now, just so you know. I checked this morning.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, members of the board. Rene Mariscal, Division Manager, I'll be providing the drought update. The last formal reporting, official reporting is 18.7 as of August 31st, so we still remain in stage 2. But as Dr. Homan indicated this morning, I checked myself as well, we're like 20.1.
Yeah.
So things are increasing. The trend for August was obviously downward, but I think we're just turned the corner and we're starting to move slightly upward. Falcon, for example, today is at 12.4%, where a week ago it was 11.5, and the lowest in August was about 10.5. So there's a gradual increase. Amistad, same thing, today is 26.6, last week 25, and the lowest in August was 19. So clearly we see a little bit of a trend headed upward, probably not as much as we'd like, but some good news for now. And hopefully this rain, we'll see what that, if that adds anything to the watershed, although it looks like it's mostly coastal, but we shall see. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that concludes the general manager's report. No action needed. Item number 4, consideration and possible action of a resolution to approve the investment policy, investment strategies, and other matters in connection therewith.
Good afternoon, Mr. President and members of the board. My name is Jorge Santillan, Treasury and Accounting Manager. As required by Chapter 2256, the Texas Government Code requires the annual review of the Southwest Regional Water Authority's investment policy, investment strategies, and other matters. SRWA staff reviewed the current policy and is recommending minor revisions to the policy. These minor revisions are listed on pages 3, 7, and 16 of the policy. The following components of the investment policy also require annual review and approval. On Section 2, we have the list of authorized personnel. Section 3, broker-dealer questionnaires and certification. And Section 4, list of authorized brokers, dealers, and investment pools. Any questions before reading the recommended action?
Any questions or?
I do want to add that if you have the certificate of secretary, that we are supposed to be filing, if you can make the corrections that Mr. Roger Nelson is also the secretary vice president before we actually execute it, and then we put the voting execution on there. So just a quick reminder that the way it was presented on you was before the voting of the slate of the officers.
Okay. Good point, good point. And, Paul, did you see any issues or any concerns with this?
No, this is pretty standard.
Deposit the money directly into Mike's bank account. I saw that somewhere. But no, okay, great. So please do.
Yes, let me read the recommended action. Staff recommends approval of the resolution of the SRWA's investment policy and investment strategies and other matters in connection therewith.
Okay, that is the recommended action.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor of accepting this recommended action, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, consideration and possible action to approve the annual supply of chlorine dioxide equipment and service.
Mr. President, members of the board, my name is Jose Armando Garza. Chlorine dioxide is used to reduce arsenic, iron, and manganese levels in drinking water. Chlorine dioxide is generated on site from a reactive chemical, sodium chloride, that is considered hazardous to handle. During the design phase of the chlorine dioxide project, 2 Millennium 3 C250 model chlorine dioxide generators were submitted for approval to a TCEQ Environmental Quality, TCEQ, and May 10, 2019, SRWA received approval to construct the chlorine dioxide generating system consisting of 2 Millennium 3 C250 BF batch generators. Evoca Water Technologies, LLC, is a sole source provider of the Millennium 3 equipment that are currently installed. Therefore, no competitive bids were solicited. Evoca Water Technologies, LLC will supply the equipment and provide preventive maintenance for the chlorine dioxide generating system for the annual price of $64,896. The term of the contract will be from October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2025. Are there any questions?
So I've been thinking about this all weekend, and I'm not a big fan of sole source providers, and you know, in this case, we've kind of designed it into the system. One thing we might want to think about is just some way to evaluate the pricing we're getting versus competition, even if we can't use the competition, but just to make sure we're not, you know, we're not going off the deep end because we have a sole source provider. But I don't think that's necessary for the approval of this action item.
Yeah. We do go out for bids on the chemical that we use for the chlorine dioxide, the chlorine and the sodium chloride. And Evoqua was the low bidder on that for us and for the surface water plants. So the recommended action, SRWA staff recommends awarding the annual supply of chlorine dioxide equipment and service to Evoqua Water Technologies, LLC, of Sarasota, Florida, for a grand total amount not to exceed $64,896.
Motion, Mr. President.
Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, next item is the consideration of possible action to upgrade the area filtrate, microfiltration system.
The Southwest Regional Water Authority uses a microfiltration system developed by Area Filtra, formerly PAL Corporation, to reduce iron and arsenic from the groundwater. The software and hardware systems are 9 years old and are starting to have issues when processing data. RF Filtra will provide and install a new VersaView computer, power supply, and a new desktop server and monitor. Both computers will be preloaded with Factory Pack View version 12 software. RF Filtra is the sole source provider of Factory Pack View version 12 software and VersaView computer. It's another sole source.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Again, motion, Mr. President.
Okay, great. Second. And you have to second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank
Should I
you.
read the action?
Oh, we went too fast. Okay. Yes,
Okay.
we'll slow it back. Yes, please.
SRWA staff recommends purchasing the microfiltration systems, hardware, and software from RF Filtra of Portland, New York, for a grand total amount not to exceed $58,455.82.
Okay. Now we can review the process.
Oh, again, motion.
We gotta redo
Yeah.
it. Okay, and then,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Trying to save you some saliva, but.
Okay, this last item, discussion on the date and time of the next board meeting. I know that first Monday of the month I won't be in town. I don't know if anybody else has any thoughts.
I'm okay if we move it to the 14th.
Oh, you know what? I was lying. I meant the 30th of September. So I will actually be here for the 7th, if you guys want to do the 7th. So.
7th is fine with me.
Okay, that's great, because otherwise it makes it a long day with this and then the TV board. Okay, so is everybody think that's good?
Yes.
Okay, we don't really need to vote on that, do we? No. Okay.
I move the meeting be adjourned. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Okay.
Aye. Motion passes. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you guys very much.
I just wanted to say, did Walmart reach out to you on the 14th in November 14th about